Hi, this is the help video for Excel Chapter 1, Pause and Practice number 2. We're beginning on step number 8. So on the left is the SimNet SimBook instructions. On the right is the file as it exists at the end of step 7 in our Pause and Practice 2. So like I said in the last video, we pretty much have all the data in here. We just need to make it look professional. So we're going to start by working on some styles. And so I'm going to open up my screen so you can see where the styles are in a less compressed fashion. And then I'll come back to. So right here on the Home tab, there's this big area that's styles. So if you want to get the whole gallery up, you use this More button, which is the down arrow with the bar above it. And there's all these different predefined styles. So, what we want to do is select A1, which is Paradise Lakes Resort. We're going to come up here to Cell Styles and find the style title. And one of the things that I want you to note is you can move through these and it will live preview, so you can, if you don't have instructions telling you, okay, accent, 20% accent 1, then you can just kind of go through, find what you think looks good and consistent with the rest of your file. But we're going to put title on here. Then we're going to select A2, make it the active cell, go back to Cell Styles. This time we're going to find heading 2. So it's going to do this blue, bold, and with an underline under it. So one of the things that I want you to be aware of is, do you see when I'm sitting on the cell, like it's still the active cell? You can't always see the formatting. So don't freak out when you're thinking nothing's happened. Just click off of it and it'll show you, oh, okay, there's my blue underline. So don't worry about that too much. Okay, so then we're down here to step E. We want to select A10 through I10. So this total row, if we come up to Cell Styles, probably since it's a total row, total would be a good style. If we click off of it, do you see it's got a double line at the bottom? And so for accounting and financial data, oftentimes the double underline at the end means you're done with the exhibit or the whatever that you're trying to put. So it's oftentimes you want to put that double line just to let everybody know who's looking at your document that this is the end. Okay, so then we're going to select A4 through A10, and then we have to select B4 to I4. So those are non-adjacent, right? I can't draw a rectangle on those two areas. So let's start the first one, A4 through A10. So I selected that, and that's cool. But now I want to come over here. So if I click on Monday, look at what happens. It goes away. So I have to come up with a way to keep this and add to it, and that is the Control key. So find on your keyboard the Control key, press and hold it. As long as it's depressed, you can go and select other cells, right? I could do whatever I want here, as long as I have that control down. So I want to select this, press and hold my Control, come over here to total. Oops, total. So I have the categories, and then I have the days of the week selected. So now we want to come up to Styles, and we want to find light blue, 20% accent 1. Sorry, accent 1. So this very first one. So now, and here's another example of where I'm not quite seeing it. If you click off of it, it shows you it, right? So theme and apply font attributes. So the theme and the theme colors and fonts and that are in page layout in Excel. And just like Word, you can do the theme, which comprises of 3 areas: the color palette, the fonts that are used, and the special effects that are used. Those 3 areas are included in the theme. You can then separate them out individually. So you could apply a theme, but then come and tweak it a little bit and do a different color palette or a different font, right? So it's all in this theme group. theme versus theme color. So you just want to watch when the instructions are asking you what to do, whether you're doing an overall theme or one of the components. So in this one, we're going to do the facet theme, right? So a theme, so that's this one. And it's this one here with the green kind of background. And this does live preview too, so I can go through here and you can see the fonts change and even like the spacing, right? So you can move through here and find the one you want. We're going to do facet because our instructions tell us to. All right, so then we want to select A4, home. We want to make this, the contents of this cell right now is set to Trebuchet MS. We want to change that font to Candara. So I could scroll, but I can also click on that and start typing, and it's going to take me down there, right? So I don't have to keep, so let's say you wanted Times New Roman. Instead of scrolling, you could just start typing time. So we're going to do Candara, right? Very different font, and 16 points. So we're going to go right here with the point size and make it bigger and bold. So now I have three things that I did to this cell. I did this change in the font face, the font size, and made it bold. I want to take that and, well, let's do this next thing first. A5 through I10. So that's all of this. A5 through I10, and we want to make it 12. So all we did was bump up the font size a little bit. But now what we want to do is we want to take the formatting that we did in this A4 and we want to apply it across this row. So just like in Word, I can pull up a format and lay it down on some cells. So I'm going to do Format Painter, and I only have one location, one area, I guess. I don't have to click multiple times. So I can just do a single click on this. Click, hold, drag across. It will take the format that we set, which remember was Candara 16 bold, and apply it across there. Well, now we can't see some things, but we'll fix that. Okay, so I'm going to take a second and save that. So we're getting there. Now we're going to turn our attention from looking at some text to looking at numbers. So when you work with number formats, it's on the Home tab. There's a number group here. So let's just look at what this is. So this $ applies an accounting number format. So an accounting number format has the $ at a fixed location at the edge of the cell, a comma every thousands, and 2 decimal places. Okay, that is different than if it asks for currency. This is accounting. If I want currency, I have to come up here where it says General, click the down arrow, and do currency. Currency has a floating $, so the $ is right next to the edge of the number on the end number, a comma, and 2 decimals. It also differs between currency and accounting in how negative numbers are applied, whether it's a parentheses or a red or a minus. They differ, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. So then we have the percent. So this would change a number that is in the cell to a percentage, and then to the right of that is the comma style. So that's really like accounting, except it doesn't have the $. So it does a comma every thousands and 2 decimal places. We then have 2 buttons, increase and decrease decimal. So if we apply accounting and we don't want the .00 on everything, we can decrease it. And that's where we're going to go with this. So it's going to start by selecting B5 through I9. So all these numbers in the middle, excluding this total row. I want to apply a comma to it. And that's a very common thing, is that you only do a $ maybe at the first row and the total row. Because if you see a $ on every one of these, it just gets a bit busy, right? And so the understanding would be if I make this total have a dollar sign, then the numbers that comprise it are also currency. Okay, so we have that, but look, everything is 0.00, 0.00, 0.00. We don't need to keep that in there. So I'm going to use this decreased decimal and go 1, and now I only have 1, again, and now I'm to a whole number. So what I want you to notice here before we move on is how the alignment of the total and the column above it, they're not in a column anymore. Like the 5 is over a little bit, right? So the 1s, 10s, 100s, they're not quite lined up. And that has to do with how negative numbers are portrayed. So if I make this a negative 451, I'm just going to put a minus sign in front of it. Look at what happens. It displays the negative number as with parentheses. Now watch what happens if I come over here and I make this currency. Look, it makes it with a minus sign, and look at where it lines up. So when you have a number that is negative, there's 4 ways you can show that. Red alone, red with parentheses, a minus sign, or red of each of those, right? So we want that to be comma. Sorry, I'm messing up here. Let's get that back to where it was. So that's all. And it really doesn't matter. You just want to make sure your things are all lined up. Your column of numbers is lined up correctly. And we will once we make this, fix this. So we decreased the decimal. So now we're going to select B4 through I4. And we want to right align that. So I'm on alignment, and I want to pick right. It's going to move those over to the right and align them with the numbers. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is put some borders. Did I miss something here? Hold on. Common style. I did. B10 through I10, we want to do accounting. So that's this. And then don't worry about that. So the pound signs are what looks like railroad tracks. Just means that with the formatting applied, the number doesn't fit there anymore. And that's okay, because we're going to go decrease, decrease. So now all of our numbers are lined up good. So the last thing we need to do on this is to put some borders on here. So we're going to select A4 through I10. And we're going to use the border button. So this is on the home right here. Click the down arrow, all borders. So it puts borders on all of it. But notice that that double underline at the end is now gone. So we want to put that back on. So we're going to select A10 through I10. And we want to open up the format cells dialog box. So I'm just going to go to, I could go to font, I could go to number, it doesn't really matter, and double click on the, click on the dialog box launcher, and we want to go to border. So look, there's a border on the bottom, and that border is a single line. So I want to take that away because I don't want that border. Now what I'm going to do is pick the kind of border I do want, which is the double line, come back here and reapply that line, but with the new style. I'm going to click OK, click off of it, and there it is. There's my double line at the end, so I am good. So I forgot this border up here. So A2 through I2, we're going to go back to more borders. I'm going to look at how it's gray here. That means that in this range, I have a mixed bag, right? Some of it has a border, some of it doesn't. So Excel doesn't know how to display that. So it puts that gray that tells you that the selection has multiple borders there or no borders. So we're going to click on it. It puts the single border. We're going to take that away. So in effect, I clicked and then I clicked. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pick our color. So dark green, 25%. And we want the thick solid, so it's this one right here. And we're going to apply it at the bottom. Okay, click off of it, and now I've got that border all the way across. I can save this, and we're ready to go to the next pause and practice. Thank you.